When most of us think of Agnetha Fältskog, we see a phenomenally successful woman who is universally admired for her stunning good looks and incredible musical talent. Thousands upon thousands of people adored Agnetha and would have given their lives to emulate her or at least spend a day in her company. If you hold this view, be ready for what could be the most shocking experience of your life. The reality about Agnetha is disturbing, and what's worse is that nobody knows it. The tragic events that befell her are discussed in this video. Because of the immense sexual objectification she endured and the persistent undervaluing of her skill, the ABBA singer retreated into a life of solitude and isolation, far from the attention and activity of the city. Never before has 74 appeared so alone for a celeb. Agnetha, who is 74 years old, has decided to live out her golden years in seclusion on the island of Aquero in a rustic farmhouse. On multiple instances, the news that Agnetha lives alone has been confirmed. She has since been characterized by those closest to her as someone who is reserved, shy, and quiet. Hearing this makes me unhappy all over again, and it hurts much more for people who knew Agnetha better than this. A great deal of media speculation has also been sparked by Agnetha's departure from the mainstream media. She finally broke her silence after 17 long years and made a highly anticipated TV appearance not long ago. Nonetheless, we still don't know why she departed. Even while Agnetha has stated in interviews that she's happy when she's not in front of the camera, many believe there's more to her decision than simply wanting some alone time. After all, a decision of this magnitude requires careful consideration and a compelling enough rationale for someone whose entire life has been consumed by the spotlight. Unfortunately, Agnetha's time as a famous ABBA member was the beginning of a lot of the stress and sorrow she endured. So in order to uncover her motives, we must go back in time to her days there. Many people believe that the constant criticism she received from the media, both before and after her career's pinnacle, contributed to her choice to withdraw from society. Some think her courageous move was prompted by the persistent abuse and harassment she endured at the hands of the media. Everyone is aware that Agnetha was objectified and hypersexualized by the media in the most degrading ways imaginable. Not only has everyone noticed this, but Agnetha has even made it clear. Even though Agnetha became a global icon of pop music success thanks to her stunning good looks and incredible talent, she also became known for certain less than flattering aspects of her personality. In the 1970s, when ABBA was at the height of its glory, the media's fixation on Agnetha's looks took precedence despite her tremendous musical achievements. Her singing ability were obvious, but her beauty, more especially her figure, was frequently the center of attention. In interviews and news articles, she was more often than not praised for her beautiful blonde hair and curvaceous form than for her artistic abilities or her role as the musical mastermind behind ABBA's hits. Shots of her voluptuous figure were a common motif in her photo sessions, music videos, and public performances. She felt incredibly exploited as a result of this, as you could expect. Her objectification began in the media and spread to other parts of her public persona. Horrifyingly indecent communications and harmful fantasies involving her were commonplace. As a result, many men around the world saw Agnetha primarily as a sexual object. Even though Agnetha was unhappy with the way her looks were being described, she had little say in the matter due to her status as a prominent member of an absurdly successful group. During an interview that went viral, a journalist boldly asked Agnetha if the rumor about her having the sexiest bottom was real, noting that they had heard it someplace. The author of The Feminine Unit, Germaine Greer, made a comment about this, stating that it is expected that people would ask her questions about such things rather than the music she works so hard on. It is absolutely unacceptable to treat any human being as expendable, as pointed out by Marie Halling, manager of ABBA's costumes and makeup department. Experiencing such horrific torture must have been unbearable for Agnetha. And as ABBA's star began to rise, Agnetha's anxiety about being the center of attention intensified, and she felt the urge to retreat into solitude to avoid the scrutiny of the public eye. Unfortunately, the account of this sexual abuse that was enabled through digital means, her objectification and exploitation by the media, does not eliminate the immense challenges she encountered throughout her life. Behind the scenes, she was also dealing with a lot of personal problems. We still know a lot about the hardships Agnetha endured to balance her stardom after becoming a mother, even though she never opened out about these personal struggles during her days with ABBA. Reflecting on the significant challenges she encountered in not wanting to abandon her children while on tour, Agnetha detailed in an interview how difficult it was to launch a profession while also wanting to be a mother. She struggled mightily to meet the needs of her children and ABBA, but she felt guilty every night as she went to sleep, knowing that she couldn't possibly be good enough for everyone. Bjorn Ulvaeus, who was Agnetha's husband at the time, has also talked publicly about this, relating a touching story of how he and Agnetha returned from a tour when their daughter was very little and confused her parents. That must have been the worst nightmare ever for any parent. Another major tragedy that Agnetha and, by extension, her ex-husband, endured was their divorce, which must be mentioned while we are talking about Agnetha and Bjorn. Although the reasons for the divorce of the apparently happy couple remain a mystery, what is clear is that neither party enjoyed the process, and Agnetha in particular had a difficult time adjusting to life after the split. Agnetha went so far as to say that she needed therapy after the breakup. The emotional toll that the divorce took on Agnetha was exacerbated when Bjorn found a new partner just 1 week after they split up, leaving her devastated. You start to wonder if the relationship had any value at all when one person moves on so quickly and the other one takes the brunt of it. Winner Takes It All, a stunning song featuring Agnetha's powerful vocals, conveyed the sorrow of their breakup and was published by ABBA during this terrible era. Bjorn wrote the song about their broken marriage, which Agnetha revealed later. Even though the song was very personal, Agnetha still loved playing it since it gave her an outlet for the intense feelings she was having. Although most people didn't believe her, Agnetha made an intriguing comment in some of the first interviews following the divorce about how pleasant it had been. These suspicions turned out to be true in the end. In her 1997 memoir, As I Am, Agnetha candidly acknowledged that the term happy divorce was really a front for the couple's split. The emotional wounds were deep, and there was no way to have a happy parting, particularly when children were involved. What I'm getting at is that maybe she needed to isolate herself from the individuals who had harmed her in order to cope with the overwhelming amount of pain she had endured throughout her life. She may have finally found the serenity she had been seeking after a long period of turmoil because of this. Only Agnetha had to pay this price for fame, I wonder. In spite of everything, Agnetha's reputation as a revered personality in pop music has not been compromised. She has a unique place in the annals of popular culture and is still adored for her stunning vocals. Were Agnetha's experiences a series of unlucky accidents, or did she also suffer from genuine exploitation, abuse, and underappreciation? Was she the only one in ABBA to take use of her media position? Or was Agnetha at blame for the fact that she couldn't defend herself honorably? Post a comment below to inform us.